to Integrated EDU,
where innovation meets education.
Here we explore fresh strategies,
creative learning pathways,
and powerful tools to boost student engagement and growth.
Let's elevate education,
one idea at a time. Hello, Integrated EDU Educator family. I'm Meg.
I'm Kara.
And welcome to our next episode. This one has been in the making. We are extremely excited about this episode because we are here to announce something very exciting that Kara and I have been working on.
Yes, a year in the making.
A year in the making. A year in the making. So this episode is all about the ElevatED Educator. We have a book coming out. It's called ElevatED Educator, and it is going to launch on April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to share a little bit of knowledge with you, insights, some different things that you're going to take away to get to that book, and then we'll tell you how to get your own copy.
Absolutely. So first of all, we wanted to kind of just talk to our integrated family just about like why we even wrote this book to begin with, why we even decided to start digging into the process of book writing, because it is no easy task.
It is not.
And truthfully, we wanted just to provide a resource for educators on what we knew was working in our classrooms. And so that is how the book idea was born.
Yeah. And I think a big part of it is that Kara and I have spent the last 15 years in the elementary education classroom. 15. And with that, we have had so much field study, study, a lot of trial and error, a lot of things of that didn't work. Let's try it again. We've gone through it with each other, and through all of that hard work and all of that testing with our kids and all of the different things, we've realized that there is actually a easier way to teach our students and a more fun way for us to engage with them, to differentiate with them. So ElevatED Educator is all about how you can elevate your teaching in your classroom so that you're walking away a little bit happier and your students are growing in all the knowledge that you're providing them.
And we wanted to provide that for you because, like Meg said, with all of the learning that we have done over the course of the years, we want to provide that for you, and you don't have to go through that trial and error process, and you get to benefit from all of that learning. And this is the resource to do that.
Yeah. So a big part of our book is different pathways to learning. We absolutely feel that no person, no student, no child, no adult learns in a one pathway. There's no way that all of us learn in the exact same way. So we decided in our work to create how are other students learning as we're teaching them. We found 7 different pathways. Those pathways are outlined in our book, and then you get 70 plus ideas on how to put those into action in your classrooms. So we're talking about how do you differentiate with music, with visual arts, with movement, with storytelling. What does that look like to take what you're already teaching, the content that you have to teach, and elevate that into something that's purposeful for your students?
Absolutely. And a bit more creative and a little bit more fun and more engaging for your students.
Absolutely.
We talk a lot about how students can oftentimes feel stuck when they're only provided one pathway in order to learn or access information. And so what our goal is to provide multiple pathways in order for students to access content, and the pathways are how we do that.
So I'm thinking right now, some of them are thinking, yeah, okay, but I have 25 kids in my classroom. Well, one big thing, Kara and I have been all over the nation helping schools in this same exact thing. And a big piece, a big pain point is my students aren't engaged. I can't get my students to stay engaged throughout my lesson. I'm doing all the things. I feel like my hooks are never long enough. And that's a big part of this book, is it no longer can just be a hook to a lesson. It's got to be something that takes you all the way through what you're teaching. So what does that even look like? How do you continually engage your students? And that's where ElevatED Educator comes into play, is taking that 1-2 minute hook that we used to teach as educators and making it long lasting so your students are engaged.
Yep. I believe in the book we called it prolonged engagement, extending that out. Instead of just the first 2 minutes, they're engaged throughout the entire lesson, throughout the entire unit, excited and ready to learn.
Yeah. Another big piece is differentiation. right? No two students in our classrooms, whether you're kindergarten or 12th grade, are learning at the same pace. And it's kind of a funny thing when we start, we're like, how are you differentiating in your classroom? And we think, my first immediate thought is, oh, we used to do stations and rotations and different things, but we just don't have time to do all of the things. And so the elevated educator, using these different pathways to learning, gives you a natural way to differentiate for your students. You're providing the same content, but you're giving it away for your students, your high-level learners, your low-level learners, a way to understand that content in a path that makes it make sense for them. And then they're growing with every other person in the classroom. It takes less off of you as the educator, because you're not trying to plan for 25 different students, right? And your students are still growing, and you have energy at the end of the day.
What a beautiful thing.
What a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. The differentiation piece is huge when we talk about pathways. Another piece of our book in correlation with the pathways is elevating the pathways into classroom learning experiences. And we start digging into the how and the why behind classroom learning experiences. And we also provide planning resources for classroom learning experiences as well.
Yeah. So you're thinking about, well, what would that even be?
Yeah.
Right now, Kara and I are going through a really fun experience for our students. We've been on a very long journey of understanding life cycles, animal traits, environments. And right now our students are in the middle of creating their knowledge through visual arts and storytelling. And that experience, having all the content as the foundation, the vocabulary, the research behind it, and now they're taking all of that knowledge and they're creating their experience through visual arts and storytelling. So these students have made a background for the environment. They have been dropped into, and they have to acquire 5 different animal traits from 5 different animals in order to survive in that environment. And then they have to figure out a way to showcase that through visual arts. So that right there is an example of what it would look like to take a pathway of visual arts and storytelling and create an experience that helps you teach content that might be very difficult to understand by just reading about it.
Absolutely. And you, as you might have guessed, the engagement and the motivation for our students to showcase their learning and to really, show their best, I guess, it's through the roof. You walk into any of our rooms, yes, it may be noisy. However, every student is on task and really working hard on trying to show their best and trying to show, we call it survival games.
Yeah.
Like trying to show, how they would win this game, and how they would survive.
Yeah. And I think the beautiful piece of using this outline, the pathways and experiences, is we help build our students to this place. They're thinking about climate and culture. It's a big piece of our experiences that we talk about in our book, about how building these experiences are also a way that you set that climate and culture in your classroom, right? You have to have a strong setting of that, how we work together, how we agree or disagree appropriately, sharing materials. High school, we still have to talk about things like this. So thinking about how that looks and teaching it more in a fun and engaging way. Because I will say, at the end of the day, when we're working on these projects, our classrooms are a hot mess express, and you just say, everybody work together, we got to get this cleaned up. And by the end, it's all said and done.
And they have work that they are truly proud of and excited to talk about, to keep working on. And that's a beautiful thing to see. With the classroom learning experiences and the pathways, we talk about 5 different elements of classroom learning experiences and how, it creates an experience, not just an activity in the classroom. So we go through those, dig through those. Climate and culture is one that Meg hit on, as well as differentiation. And the example we're talking about, we're also using this experience as an assessment piece as well. So we talk about how assessment can be fun, which a lot of times people, their hairs on their neck start to raise up a little bit because they're looking at us like we're crazy. But it just goes to show that, we're still being purposeful. It just may look a little bit different. And so this book really digs into those elements and how that could look in a classroom. And like Meg said, we go through and give you 70 plus, I think we're up to 80 some ideas
Absolutely.
in the back of the book right now. So just tons of ideas on what these pathways and experiences could look like. And we also tag the different elements and things in the experiences. So you can kind of plan on what it is. If you're trying to hit certain things, you can be like, okay, and go through and dig through that
and dig through them. Yeah.
Pick out what you want.
Really, this book it's not just a sit and read on the weekend and just get this huge idea. What we wanted is a step-by-step guide, practical, application into your classroom, because I don't know about you, but I don't have time to sit down and read this long theory book about how it could be. This is stuff that's actually happening in classrooms right now. And what it is just the knowledge behind all of these amazing educators that we're working with. And the ideas, we're so wonderful as educators. We get one idea and we can change it to meet the needs of our students. Because the students that we're teaching this year are going to be different than the students we get next year. And so the pathway or the idea that you're using, you might have to change anyways. So just thinking about, those 80 ideas, how many of those it's just going to multiply as this book goes.
We truly just wanted to provide a starting point, truly, because like Meg said, a lot of us, we go here, we're like, oh, well, I could tweak it like this to make it this for my kids, or, I could expand it by doing this. So we just wanted to provide a starting point and some ideas, because we know that educators are creative and they can take it and run. And so we're excited to see what comes from that.
Yeah. Real world examples. It's happening.
Absolutely.
All right. So we've given you a little brief excitement, I don't know what to call that, of this book that's coming out. It's hitting April 30th. So when you're ever listening to this, maybe it's already out and you're heading on over to get it. But you can pre-order our ElevatED Educator book. You can head on over to YouthLight and pre-order it there. To get to that link, an easy way is to go to IntegratedK12.com. Go to the top where it says ElevatED Educator, and there are tons of links there that you can click and pre-order your book. We do bulk orders. So if you're a district or a school that's looking for, we'd be happy to help you out with some bulk orders for that book as well. And it pairs beautifully with with our PD opportunities. So if you are looking for some ideas and ways to bring us in, and you want to help spread the word, we are here to give that to your educators.
Absolutely. We really are just trying to help educators with, a lot of times, like Meg said at the beginning, with that disengagement, with feeling they're planning so much at one time. We're trying to give them literally tools and resources at their fingertips in order to take some of that stress away from them, to create an atmosphere that they want to go to work every day. And for our students to be engaged and show growth. That's also kind of the bottom line. Yeah.
Education is changing. So we're ready to go along with that for sure.
There is also a ton of pre-order information on our social media platforms. So be sure to go over to those and check those out. We are on Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, LinkedIn,
all the things,
and YouTube as well.
If you can't find us, you're not looking hard enough. All right. And if you have pre-ordered that book and you are ready to share about it, make sure that you hashtag ElevatED Educator. We'd love to hear your thoughts about this. We're very excited for this to come out. Kara and I have poured our hearts and souls into this book. We wanted to make sure that every word and every chapter that we're providing you is something that educators can take away and use. This is not just all of this knowledge for nothing. It's been 15 years in the making, and we're so excited to finally share it with all of you.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us on our episode at IntegratED EDU. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. And we will see you next month for another amazing episode.
All right. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow educators.
Join the conversation in the comments and let us know how you're applying these strategies in your classroom.
Together, we can create meaningful learning experiences for all students.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.